Tell you what, I posted on my own social media pages yesterday and announced it on the show yesterday, looking at knowing the mosques, in this case, the most historically significant mosques in the country. In fact, my challenge was, can you name the 30 most significant in the country? And I hope that to talk us through all of those. So yesterday we had the 23rd Street Mosque in Friedorp, or Fritas, right, in Johannesburg, the community that I was born in, right? Today, and thank you for all the feedback, by the way. And you can also comment what for you are, name a mosque for you that you think is fit enough to be called amongst the most historically significant in South Africa. 061 766 0355, or you can post it on the Salam Media social media pages, or mine as well. So let's therefore talk about a mosque that is certainly significant, and that is the Grey Street Mosque in Durban. You cannot ignore that mosque, also because of the fact that it's got a whole business community around it. Quite interesting. The chairman of the mosque, of the Jumuah Masjid, that is Dr. A.V. Mohammed. So Dr. A.V. Mohammed, appreciate your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and salams to the listeners of Salam Media, and thank you for asking me to be on this interview to give you some valuable information.
Thank you. Well, so my question was that we believe that the Grey Street Mosque is amongst the 30, maybe even the 20 most significant, historically significant mosques in South Africa. I take it you're going to concur with me, right?
Well, Ashraf, I must tell you that, every masjid, whether big or small, has some significance in some small way or in some major way. But there are others, like this Jumuah Masjid in Durban, which is the second mosque built in the Republic of South Africa. And it is the first mosque in KwaZulu-Natal. And until today, still enjoys the status as the largest masjid in the Republic of South Africa, and as well as the largest mosque in the Southern Hemisphere.
Okay, that's quite incredible stats, right? Take us back to the history. When was that mosque built?
All right, I'm going to quickly go through it, and you must mind my English a bit, but I'm going to be rapid and fast as possible to fit in as information as you can. When a mosque is 140 years old, surely you need about 140 minutes to talk about it. But the traders that came after the arrival of the indentured laborers in 1860, the property that stands at the mosque today was a morning market owned by a Tamil female woman who used to sell her fresh produce during the 1860 to 1874. The Javeri and the Dada family arrived in 1874 in Durban. And in 1880, they purchased this first piece of land, which is directly opposite where the Javeri's business was. So the first piece of land was purchased in 1880. A tin shanty was put up where it is recorded that the original prayers were a congregation of 11 people. Thereafter, there were other side properties purchased that is adjoining to the very first property. And altogether, 6 properties were purchased for the Jumuah Masjid, the mosque itself, and over a period of time, first it was the back minaret and a small mosque built in 1904. So the rear minaret that you see at the mosque is from 1904. Then there were subsequent changes to the masjid. Jumuah Masjid Waqf Trust is the first Waqf Trust in the Republic of South Africa, established in 1916. So from 1916 to 1925 to 1940, various changes were made for the commercial section plus the section of building a flat above the shops as well. May I add that the same trustees that were involved with the purchase of all these 5 lands were also responsible to purchase another historical land site, which was then called the King's Rest Masjid in the Bluff. It was the purchasing of the land in 1895 with the arrival of slaves from Zanzibar and elsewhere. So there are two historic mosques that is located with the Jumuah Masjid in Grey Street, plus the Masjid of King's Rest.
Okay, got that. Tell me quickly how, in the few minutes remaining we have, so how large, you said it's the largest in South Africa, the largest in the Southern Hemisphere. So how many worshippers, and why was it built to accommodate that many worshippers, considering it was built so many years ago?
Well, I think it was the hindsight of the people that they expected the flood of people to come, which eventually took place. It is the largest mosque in the Southern Hemisphere. Take 2,000 people on the ground floor. It can take 2,000 people on the upper floor. And on the third floor, which is the roof garden, in my days of a young man, I read my Eid Salah upstairs. And the minimum congregate that have ever assembled is close to 7,000 in the mosque. And we have a ladies' Jamaat Khana, or what we call a prayer place for them, which is above the rear Wudu Khana as well, which can accommodate 300 ladies as well. So all in all, between 7,000 to 8,000 people. The minimum recorded on the day of Eid is close to 5,000 to 5,500 people. The weekly attendance on a Friday prayer is between 3,500 to 4,000. The daily Zohr prayers, they are between 2,000 to 2,500 people that pray the Zohr Salah, which is made up of majority of the people that live or have businesses in the CBD. Of course, the graphics has changed. CBD is gone very, very foreign. So at this moment in time, more than 50%, close to 60% of the worshippers of this masjid are foreigners, our brothers from the rest of Africa, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka.
Okay, fascinating. Which then leads me to ask you this last question. Over the years and even now, what is the impact of the Grey Street Mosque? Besides the fact that it can accommodate so many people, how do you measure the impact of this mosque to the Durban community?
It is an historic icon landmark, as it attracts tourists from all over the world. It is one of the highlights of the Durban Tourist Bureau. We have close to 1,000 foreigners who come to visit the mosque, and we have close to 500 school children every month. So, and they are guided tours by the IPCI of the mosque. It is an historic landmark. If you come to Durban and you haven't passed the Grey Street Mosque, but you haven't been to Durban.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a Laitiki, when I went to Durban for the first time, first stop was the Grey Street Mosque. So just so that you know that, there you are, the Grey Street Mosque in all its color. Let's put it that way. Really wonderful talking to you, Dr. Avi Mohammed, the chairperson of the Jumuah Masjid that effectively runs the Grey Street Mosque. We'll do it again tomorrow. Which mosque should we talk about? If I put the challenge to you, it has to be one of the 30 most historically significant mosques in South Africa. You tell me. Here's the WhatsApp number, 061 766 0355. On that note, let me say my goodbyes. We'll talk tomorrow. Don't forget the competition coming up as well. And Mariam Makwanda will also host a show coming up, I think, from 11. So looking forward to that and the rest of the programming all throughout the day. We'll be back with the Ashraf Ganta show tomorrow morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.